Okay, let's get started. When we use SIB, the physician may create the prescription to the full dose, right? The base dose plus the boost dose, which is 6,000. So our base dose might be 5,000, then we boost 1,000, so it becomes 6,000. So that's why you see 6,000 on here. So what you'll have to do is create your kind of base plan. Let's say I want 100% covering, let's see, 5. And then I'm going to change this to 98 and apply. So I want to get my base dose plan done. And we'll turn on this 5,000. So my blue is going to be the base prescription, right? So this plan looks pretty good. Nice coverage to 5,000. And then we're going to change our lumpectomy cavity to the boost. Now, the way I do this, the way I like to plan these boost plans is instead of using the max dose, I use volume coverage. That way I ensure that I'm getting the coverage to the structure that I want. And I'll go ahead and show that structure here. And I want to make sure that at least 98% of that volume is getting 6,000. I'm going to go ahead and apply. EasyFluence is going to re-optimize, trying to get the 6,000 to this coverage, or it will ensure that 98% of the volume of my lumpectomy cavity is getting 6,000. So now we're going to go over some of these other parameters that we can change here. So first one, the margin. I think it's best to show if I just change it and re-optimize. So right now it's at 2.5 millimeters. I'm going to change it to 5 millimeters and I'm going to reapply. And then I'm going to go to my beam's eye view and show you the difference, what 2.5 millimeters and 5 millimeters looks like. A margin here of 5 millimeters around that boost structure, the lumpectomy cavity. And I'll go ahead and go back one and show you what the 0.25 looks like. So the 2.5 millimeters. So that's what EasyFluence is doing when you're increasing that margin. Another parameter we can change is the boost field. So this is telling EasyFluence which fields to use when we create that boost plan inside the quote unquote base plan. So we can use both if we want, or just one, medial or lateral. The field and field allow jaw move. So that's when we create our field and field plan out of this eComp plan, when we send it over to the field and field where EasyFluence creates the segments. This is where EasyFluence is going to basically keep your field parameters that you set originally for the base plan and then cone down for the boost plan just to where it needs to treat the lumpectomy cavity. And I'll go ahead and show that when we generate that field and field. And then the max number of segments I'll explain as this is generating. So in any EasyFluence plan that you create from eComp to field and field, the more segments that you allow it to have, the higher the probability that EasyFluence is going to be able to recreate that eComp plan into a field and field plan. So if you give it 10 segments to be able to recreate the eComp plan, the probability of it being the exact same is very high. Now, EasyFluence isn't going to always use those 10 fields, but if it needs to, it will. So I'll go to the beam's eye view and kind of show you what that looks like. Here, again, here's the CT of what that SIB treatment looks like. And then I'll show you what the beam's eye view looks like. So we kind of have we do have our basically base plan. And then you saw how those jaws coned down for that boost plan. And it only used, well, I guess it used 3 segments there. If I go to the other field, we have our base plan, and then it's going to cone down there for our boost. And that's how we do SIB here. All right, so now I'm going to jump over to a left-sided plan with IMN nodes. This is in a case where, again, we don't want to give a full prescription dose. Really, we just want to increase overall coverage to this target here. So I have the CTV IMN turned on here. You can see it in the CT window there. And right now, those IMNs are getting about 90%. Physician, let's say, wants 4,500 to cover 98% of that volume. Right now, 4,500 is covering 95%. So they just want to increase it a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is change my IMN structure to boost. My new window pops open here, and I'm going to go ahead and use dose coverage like I recommended. And I'm going to say, okay, I want 98% of the volume covered by 4500. This looks all good. I'm going to go ahead and keep this as the default and apply. EasyFluence is going to re-optimize. So I'll blow up this real quick and show you the 4500. So now I'm 98%, and we'll look at it in the CT window here. Now, I want to reiterate that you can only make these changes in eComp. You can't say, I want to boost the structure while you're in the field mode. You have to first do it all in the eComp mode and then hit your generate field. You're going to get the same dose coverage in the same plan when you hit that generate field, but you're going to get it in segments. All right. Thanks for joining us today. That concludes our video. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out at support@radformation.com and follow us on social media.